Hey everyone, welcome back to the Eastern Front, and I'm insanely excited to bring this to you because this is the most broken mechanic I think I've ever seen. This is going to create a constant dominating artillery presence on the battlefield the whole time you're fighting pretty much. It's insane. I mean, your attacks are going to change, your defenses are going to change, everything. I mean, so make sure you leave a like, comment, subscribe if you like military strategy or doctrine. And now let's dive into this. So right here we have our new off-map artillery marker. Let's click it. So right click it, hold it, and drag, and you can effectively drag it up to 200 meters or 50 meters per gun. We have 4 guns, so all of this is going to be based off of 4 guns. So let's go forward, and let's set up our artillery barrage. So we need to right click it, remember? And we're going to drag it around right here and all the way back. You can go up to 8 steps. So what this creates, it creates a dynamic artillery barrage. And this is like just broken in my opinion. You're going to have a constant artillery presence on the map during this assault. It's going to provide you with a buffer. It's going to allow you to isolate the enemy and eliminate them. It's going to put the enemy between a rock and a hard place. Essentially, if they fall back during their defense, they're going to fall back into artillery. And if they assault, they're going to walk into artillery. So there's this constant unmitigating threat of shrapnel and high explosives on the battlefield the whole time. So like I said, we have 4 guns. If you look over here on the top right, each one of those guns needs to fire 5 rounds before it steps back. So we're going to use 20. So we need to fire 20 rounds before we walk back 50 meters to the second line, right? So if you look over here on our right-hand side, it's 3 per gun. That means 12 rounds. Each gun is going to fire 3 rounds. So let's go all the way up to 50. That's 200 rounds. So remember, I said we walked back 8 times, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140, 160. We need a minimum of 160 rounds. It goes from 30 to 50. We get 200 rounds. So after we fire 20 rounds, we are going to step back 50 meters, artillery, 20 rounds, step back 50 meters, artillery, 20 rounds. And I'm going to show you why this is just beyond busted in my opinion. All right, our artillery is set up, 200 rounds, HE, ready to fire. Let's hit next. All we're going to do is walk our infantry up. So let's select our infantry, and let's just move them to this road. Move, move, and move. Our tanks can move up to that road as well. And now let's hit play. So as our artillery begins to prepare, let's select them. We can watch it. We need to watch this, and I'm going to explain why this is just insanely insane. That's all I can honestly say about it. So as our huge, massive assaulting force moves up to secure this village, this village is an entrenched position. The enemy has a bunch of hard points, as you can see right here, and these towns right here. So there's just this massive amount of cover. So this creates a battle of attrition for us. We need to have an overwhelming force, and we need to assault them with violence of action or the surprise. Right now we're going with pure violence. We have a small force over here on the left-hand side. And now let's fast forward a little bit. Our units are moving. Here's our initial artillery barrage. Watch our ammo count over here. It's at 190. At 180, it's going to step back. So we're going to step back here in a second. So let's fast forward and watch it step back. These units are attacking us. So remember how I said we're going to create that buffer zone, right? We have artillery falling right onto the village. As this unit assaults us, they're eventually going to walk into artillery. So they're going to have to hold their assault off, and then it's going to give us this massive, massive advantage. Because if they push too far forward, they get separated from the unit, which isolates them. And now let's watch the walk back. And here it comes. It takes a moment. And there it goes. So now, like I said, we have a constant presence of artillery. This unit is pushing up to assault us and falling back at the same time. And look at this guy right here. He are becoming isolated. So not only are they under heavy artillery fire. They're falling back. And if they attempt to assault forward, they're going to walk into artillery. See, we have units moving up right here. Random artillery barrages. A huge density of enemies right here. We're at 160. We're going to fall back another 50 meters, which is going to effectively fall onto, or at least close to, this pocket of enemies. So let's click forward. And we're going to move here again in a second. Boom. Right? Now, remember what I said? We're going to isolate. Now these units are forward. They can't fall back, because if they fall back, they, heavy artillery, barrage, all of that. So they fall back into their death. And if they move forward, they become isolated. Right? Now we have another pocket of enemies. Let's click them and let's watch that next walk back. Now we're going to land on this huge, huge, huge population of enemies. So let's keep our pressure up. Let's go assault. Assault. And assault. Click on our artillery so we can watch it. Right? Here it is. Another 20 rounds. These units are effectively isolated from their platoons, which means, one, they're either already damaged and scared. And let's just watch this just non-stop, constant, unmitigating presence. And so look, like as they fall back, they just walk into these pockets of enemies. Like just, look, we're still going to drop another 20 rounds onto this position right here. Right? Now we have another pocket of isolation. These units are now cut off from their reinforcements. We are basically in the town. We've driven them out. Two, they're no longer heavily defended. We have smoke up. They're isolated. We're going to take these pockets, eliminate these small areas of resistance, and just continue our unmitigating assault onto this village. We have complete control. The enemy needs to constantly retreat. They're stuck between a rock and a hard place. Artillery, we still have another 111 rounds to fall, which means we're going to step back 2 or 3 more times. So it's just the pressure is just intense on these guys. Absolutely intense. Like, they have commanders falling back. They're now trapped in an open field. We are in their village, just slowly capturing it, moving up, taking them out. So anyway, that's the new system I wanted to show you. Super excited, super busted in my opinion. Anyway, leave a like, comment, subscribe, let me know what you think.